Hey, it's me, Bria, and I'm a lifestyle coach. I help moms reclaim their time and energy. Look at you, taking this moment to recharge. I see you. During the Doulas Bloom podcast, I share tools and resources with my clients and community to spend time with themselves. The key to you living as your authentic self is embracing change and having courage. Your relationship with yourself is the only true constant in life, and observing yourself throughout each season will allow you to always be in alignment with the desires of your heart. Are you interested in joining my one-on-one coaching program? You can book a sales call with me by visiting the link in the description to schedule your session today. Before we get started, I have to remind you of your influence because you are an inspiration. Hey everybody, and happy International Women's Month. I am so excited for this series. I have been hard at work all of February recording with amazing women to bring you their stories. I created the Girl Chat series not only to share the stories of amazing women, but to also create time capsules of our growth. I think it's so important for us to go back and witness ourselves. And through this series, I have created a little time capsule, not only for me, but also for the women who joined me in these chats. We get to go back and witness ourselves in these moments. And I teach my clients and my community to do this on a monthly and weekly level. And so I'm so excited to expand and grow this series as time goes on. It's going to be so interesting to have guests come back on to the series. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If this is your first time here, my name is Bria. I am a lifestyle coach. I host the Doulas Bloom podcast. I am the creator of the Doulas Bloom community, and I am the leader of the village. So I'm so excited to bring you this March 2022 cohort of Girl Chats. I have committed to doing this every year, as last year in 2021, I did a series, an IGTV series of Girl Chats, which will also be shared during this month, that has inspired me to continue to share stories and to have conversations with women about their stories and their lives and what's brought them to this point. So for the rest of March 2022, you will be getting stories from 20 plus women about their stories, about where they are right now and what has brought them to this point. And I am so excited to do this again. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who's shared so openly in this series. And I am so excited to hop right into this conversation. Clearly, you clicked on this one because something in the title or the description, or you know the person who's going to be on this chat. I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I am so looking forward to our conversation about where you are a year from now, 2 years from now. I'm just excited to have you back for another Girl Chat. But I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to stop rambling and hop right into this conversation because it is so beautiful, and I don't take any of this for granted, and that's why I really had to come in here hot before we even got into the conversation just to share that. And yeah, I'm gushing right now, but thank you so much for listening, you as the viewer who's experiencing this conversation, this Girl Chat, and thank you to everybody who's been on the Girl Chat in its entirety. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna let the Girl Chat go. But if you're interested in being part of a Girl Chat with us here on the Doulas Bloom podcast, let me know. You can go to the description. There's a link down there for you to join the wait list. There's a wait list, y'all. There's a wait list for the Girl Chats because so many people wanted to be a part of this, and I'm just excited because we're gonna have more Girl Chats here in the future. So if you want to be a part of the next cohort, you need to join the wait list. Okay, have these conversations, share your story, share your insights and your gems with the community, and let us know what's going on. I don't want us to hide and think that we don't, like, our stories aren't enough. Like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much from the women in my life, and that's why this series means so much to me. But again, I want to create space for you to enjoy this conversation. And again, thank you so much to everybody who's listening, who's being a part of this series. I am happy that you're here. Again, if you want to be a part of this series, you can join the waitlist. The link is down below. You can go to doulasbloom.com/podcast guest to join the waitlist. So without further ado, it's time for a Girl Chat. It's time for a girl
Enjoy.
chat. Hey, time for a girl chat. It's time for a girl chat. Hey, time for a girl chat. Boom. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Duelist Boom podcast. It's me, it's Bria here. And today we're doing something a little different, as you can tell by my little girl chat theme song. Today we have a guest, and so we have Leon from Trinidad in the house, and we're gonna chat. We're gonna see where the conversation goes. I'm excited to hear about your story. And before we get into it, I just want you to tell the people a little bit about you. Who are you, and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you so much, Bria. And wow, I feel like you need to trademark or copyright that song because it is so catchy. Like I am literally vibing here with that song, right? So my name is Leeon George. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, like what Bria said. I am a marketing coach and I work with business owners, specifically coaches and service providers, and I help them master content creation, marketing, so that at the end they are able to build a money-making business. So that's what I do. I also have a podcast called Master Marketing and Monetize.
Ooh, ooh, I love everything. I love everything. I'm just so excited to get to talk to you today because we know each other because we're in the same business group coaching program, Five Figure Freedom. Shout out to DL for bringing us together. But I like to do this little segment on the show where I'm like, let's give each other first impressions. And so it's a little icebreaker as this is like our first time meeting. So we get to share about what was your first impression of me when you first, your first encounter. And so I'll let you go first and then I'll go after. So what was your first impression of Bria?
Yeah, that is hilarious. So I think the first time I saw you was on a call in our business coaching program, and I think you didn't want to put your camera on because you were in the dark or something like that. I'm hoping you're that person, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I remember you just being so funny, so hilarious. Like I was literally laughing while watching you because I think I was also in my bed listening to the call and still hearing certain parts, but I also found that it was so funny how you were like, I'm in the dark, you're not gonna see anything, but I'm going to put on my camera anyway. So my first impression was this girl is hilarious, she's funny, and she's very much like owning her stuff. She's like, this is who I am, this is how it is, this is how my brain is thinking, etc. And I was like, you know what, she's hilarious, we'll probably be really good friends. So that's like my first impression. Yeah, I think my impression of you is very much the same. I did watch your stories from today, so I love that you were you were kind of just you were doing a lot, like you were motivating, you were also doing, you were like, guys, I'm preparing for these sessions, these good chat sessions, but I also have my stuff to do. So I also feel like you're very inspiring and motivational, like to your audience as well. Like you're like the hype me up kind of individual, like super high vibe and super I know a lot is happening in the world, but we get to be high vibe, we get to take things off of our to-do list. So I'm sensing that you're also very motivational, and I'm sure that is so useful and beneficial to your clients in your business as well.
Yeah, my whole thing is okay, yeah, we got to check these things off on our to-do list, but we can also enjoy the process of doing it and also creating space for us to enjoy ourselves. There's always some time for us to do something for ourselves, even if it's not taking the kids to school or dropping this thing off at the post office. It's you could take a break and do something for yourself. But my first impression of you, the first time I saw you was when you came into the program and I saw your profile picture and it was the yellow background. And I was like, oh my gosh, her vibe is everything. Just the color of your background. It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was inviting. And I feel your background is yellow, but my shirt is yellow. I feel like we have very similar energy. And I love watching you get coached. I think last time I heard you getting coached, I was listening on the podcast and DL just shut you down. She's like, I'm not going to coach you on that. And I was like, stop. I was like, DL, oh my God.
Listen, I feel as if I can't get to the end of a thought anytime. I feel like Dia knows me so well because I know
Yeah.
she said like I remind her of her. So I feel like she knows like where I'm always coming from, that I am like
Yeah.
5 words in and she's like, Leon, we're not doing this. Leon,
Yeah.
no. Leon, let's talk about something else. And I'm like,
Yeah. And
why?
I appreciate, like, even though, like, I'm not gonna say she like tells you to be quiet, but like she definitely doesn't let you like ponder on things you shouldn't be pondering on. And like for me, that's like my fear. Like obviously when DL's coaching, I'm like, okay, cool, set me straight, set me straight. This is why I'm here. This is why I need coaching. But at the same time, I'm like, don't hurt me, don't hurt my feelings. Because I actually got to meet DL in person at Katie's retreat that she hosted. And it was just like, I was just like, DL, getting coached by you in person is very different experience. I can't run away, like you're still here. But I enjoy watching her coach other people, and I really enjoy watching you get coached, because it's just like your bravery. Because I'm like, some days I'd be like, is Quinn coaching today? Anybody else here?
Listen, there have been times where I'm like, wait, who's coaching? If it's there, like I know she's going to like come at me. She's going to be hard. She's going to be tough. And I know it's because she gets me so well. It's kind of annoying sometimes because I kind of want to be understood. And she's like, no, just one sentence, Leon, we're not doing this. We're not doing this, you know?
It's
I feel like it's definitely a lot of that. Like sometimes, yeah, sometimes she's hard, you know, but I know it's from a place of like she definitely sees a lot of her in me, or a lot of me in her, you know.
However the saying goes.
However the saying goes.
I am so curious to know more about like your story and like what brought you to this point. I'm always like, what brought you to the version of yourself that we're seeing today? And if that's too big of a question, like I would love to like get the key, what's the word I'm looking for? Like key milestones that brought you to this point, and any lessons learned, just to like give us some insights. Because this is our first time meeting, and I would love to hear about how, I know you shared about like being a lawyer at 23 and then you stopped doing that and now you're doing this other thing. I'm 23 right now, so I'm just like, what? Leon, how old are you? Like, how long has it been since you quit your job? Like, tell me everything.
I'll tell you everything. So I'll start off by saying I am 28 years old now, and I can't even believe it because I feel like 23 was like 5 years ago, and I feel like I remember it as if it were yesterday. So I would say my journey to self-awareness and even like being here today started when I graduated. So I graduated from law school after spending 5 years studying to be a lawyer, right? I got called to the bar. My parents were super proud. My community was super proud. I was young, I was Black, I was educated, my future was bright. Everybody was happy, you know, except me, the most important person, right? So I remember crossing the stage, because there's a stage you go up to collect the certificate of enrollment as an attorney. And when I crossed the stage and I went back down, I went into my seat, I literally asked myself, is this it? You know, I was like, is this it? Right? And I saw everyone taking their pictures and everybody just looking like, you know, they're at the epitome of happiness and where they're meant to be. And I just felt this hole in my stomach, and I actually brushed it off, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just feeling sad, or maybe I'm just hungry, you know, like I kind of just ignored my intuition. And I was just like, it was not the satisfying feeling that I thought I would have gotten, right? And I realized that for the past 5 years, my only goal was becoming an attorney. My goal wasn't to work on my mindset. My goal wasn't to make money. My goal wasn't to meet a partner. My goal was literally to become an attorney. So when it is, I finally touched that milestone, I became the attorney at law. Of course, my brain was like, is this it? You know, because I thought it would have solved all my problems, because I kind of neglected every other area in my life while embarking on that academic journey, you know. So I ignored it, because immediately that feeling of unfulfillment, it got replaced by the feeling of guilt. So Bria, I started to feel guilty. Why? Because I am a Black young adults from a third world country going to law school. It's not cheap. My parents are not rich. My mom and my dad, they work in the public service. I don't have any handouts, anything like that. So immediately that feeling of unfulfillment got replaced by the feeling of guilt. Like, how could I feel this way? Like, I am so ungrateful, I'm so spoiled, I'm not supposed to be feeling this way after so many people would have invested financially and emotionally in where I am today, right? So that was what I like to call my first act of self-betrayal, where I was like, you know what, I am just tripping, go get a job, go start your life. And that's what I did. I got a job in the employment law sector, right? I went to courts, I was busy, I did the works, etc. But that feeling never really went away, right? I always had the feeling of, is this it? Like, I knew I was destined for more. In the corporate world, however, what are these people around me couldn't have told me, because the only thing that they would have been able to provide me was that I needed an education, and I did that. So in this step of the corporate world, I felt like there was no mentors or no one to tell me what should have been done in this stage, So while I was very like outspoken, had like a big personality, while I was in that corporate space, I felt like I had to whitewash who I was as an individual. I felt like I had to silence myself, because every time I spoke up, it would lead to penalties, or it would lead to poor treatment or exclusion and whatnot, and I really felt like it was a whole lot of like ass kissing. Like, I had to choose which person to satisfy on a daily basis, just for me to survive in that environment or even thrive, right? And I remember throughout, like, I think 1.5 years in, I just became done with it. I became done. Like, I went to work, I did what I had to do, and I came home. I wasn't focused on building any relationships. I wasn't focusing on trying to create an impact in the working space, right? So in that moment, I started to ask myself, like, why am I feeling this way when to the world, I am like the most successful that I have ever been. I have a decent job. I think I just bought a car. I dressed well, I spoke well, I presented myself well to the world, but to me, I was just so miserable, and I started to dive deeper into personal development. So I remember days, so back then too, I loved retail therapy. So you would find me at the closest mall. I'm just buying clothes, I'm buying jewelry, I'm buying anything required for me to feel better in the moment, right? So I'm just masking the feelings and I'm just buying stuff. So I remember lunchtime, Bria, I literally just left for lunch. And I worked in the city in my country. So when you leave, there's like malls and stores and whatnot, right? So I went there for a walk and I said, you know what, I'm going to a store and just buy some more clothes, because why not? And the store was actually closed that I was going to. And I ended up walking to a bookstore. And I said, you know what, I always loved books, like pre-law. I loved reading books for fun, So I ended up buying 2 books. The first book was The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Mark Manson. And the second book is Jump by Steve Harvey, and I read that book first. And after reading that book, it brought so much enlightenment to me, and it made me realize that I still have a lot to work on in terms of who I am and what I wanted to be known for. Because up until this point in my life, so at that stage now, I was about, let's say 25, I had never like jumped and tried something out of the norm. Every single thing that I've done have been what people around me told me that I should do. And I'm like, I've tried it their way. I've tried it my parents' way. I've tried it my community's way. I've tried it the society's way, and I'm still unhappy. And no one can tell me how to be happy. And everybody seems to be contented with being unhappy. But I always had this belief in me that, you know what? God did not put me on this world here today to be unhappy every single day and to look like if I'm happy and not genuinely be happy, So that's when I really started to dive deeper into personal development. And I remember during that phase too, I was also sending resumes for a whole bunch of jobs, because in my mind, I was saying, this is not the job for me. Maybe I need a new job and a new job and a new job, and I was just getting rejected left, right, and center, which really was like a slap to my ego, because I'm like, I've I'm educated, I'm young, I'm ambitious. Why am I getting rejected? I know how to do well in interviews. I watch all the interview YouTube videos. Like, what is happening? And I remember my contract coming to an end and me deciding simply not to renew it. And I started to think about what it is I'm good at. And I said, you know what? I have always been great at communicating, whether it's writing, whether it's orally, etc. And I started to look at jobs or careers based on good communication skills. And then I saw social media manager and I said, you know what, why not? I started to dive more and do more research, and I realized a lot of people didn't know how to communicate with their audience. A lot of people were doing it wrong. A lot of us were incorporating a lot of corporate styles in our business, and it just was not resonating with our audience. So I decided, you know what, I am going to be a copywriter, and I'm going to write captions and blogs and just get people to communicate their message in a way that is fun, in a way that is exciting, and in a way that will encourage people to take action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started, I think this was around 2017. So at that stage, I was about 26 on that stage. Or 25, and I started my copywriting agency. Now I label it as a little side business because honestly, I didn't really want people thinking that I was a failed lawyer. So I still had my private practice that me and a friend, we started a private practice in law, and I had like one-off clients, which were very far, very wide, but they came, right? And then I had this marketing business that I would do at home on the side, etc. Right? And I did that for about, let's say, 4 or 5 months. And then eventually I realized, you know what, copywriting is amazing, such an amazing skill, but a lot of people don't know how to find their ideal audience, how to create content, how to create design. So you know what, I am going to be a full-on social media manager. I'm going to manage everything from graphics to content ideas to analytics, every single thing, And for the first year of my business, so from 2019 all the way to the end of 2020, I was a social media manager. I had like a full roster of clients. At one point, it was amazing, but it was also so overwhelming. I remember waking up a day, like I really lose myself a lot, like in my client work. Like I remember waking up a day and I was just looking like so horrible. I look at myself in the mirror and I was like, I'm looking like a hot mess. My hair is not combed. I haven't taken care of myself in forever. And I am like facing like WhatsApp burnout because every time I open my WhatsApp, there's a client telling me, don't forget this, don't forget that, don't forget this. And of course, me being the people pleaser that I am, every request was catered to. Sure, you want a last minute switch, no problem. You want this to be done, no problem. You want that, oh, you're changing your mind. You want to revamp the entire timeline that we spend the whole month. Sure, let's revamp it, sure. So I was working Sunday to Sunday. I was working weekends, I was working holidays. It was bad, and looking back, like I worked so hard, and when I checked like my year in recap, I probably only made like 1K per month for that entire year, right? Like if I were to look like on an average, and maybe that is good for like the first year in business and whatnot, but I'm like, I literally sold my soul for this entire year.
Yeah.
And then that's when, like at the end of 2020, I started to work with a mindset coach. And she was so amazing. She was my first like real coach. And while working with her, it was actually a mix of mindset and business. And I was telling her like what was going on in my business. And she was like, you also got to choose how it is you want to serve your clients. And I'm like, what? Because ever since growing up, I've been told like you always have to give your client something, And she was like, Leon, you would actually be an amazing coach. Like I've seen you in these coaching calls. I've seen how you spoke, how you show up. You would be an amazing coach. And I was like, but I'm not giving them anything. Like people want to see something tangible, because that's how I was raised. I was raised to believe that you had to give something, it needs to be something tangible in exchange for something, right? And she actually was like the first light bulb moment of me realizing that I don't have to stick to social media management. I could use my skills as a social media manager and actually coach people through their marketing problems, their marketing struggles, and help them meet a particular goal, right? And that's when I hit reset, Bria. December 2020, I took the entire month off. I had a 4-week vacation. I deleted Instagram. I I didn't even go anywhere. I just stayed present in the moment. I cleaned. I was present with my family. I celebrated Christmas. And then by January, I came back out. This is January 2021. I came back out and I'm like, I'm a marketing coach. This is how you can work with me, you know? And I also let go a lot of my social media management clients, which was not fun. But thankfully, you know, my mindset coach at the time, she had like scripts and whatnot for me to tell them so that we ended amicably, you know? And I remember entering the new year, this is 2021, with about 2 clients. With about 2 clients from my followers. I had like 2 clients. I didn't know if I was going to make money. I didn't know if anybody was going to sign up for coaching, you know? And since 2021, I've been like hosting programs, I've been hosting memberships, and now after working with DL, I finally succumbed, and the only thing that I'm hosting now is one-on-one coaching, you know. So that's kind of like my very long-winded story of how I came here today. All right, as I said, started off as an attorney at law, thinking I was going to like really be a judge. Ended up in the corporate world, really did not like the corporate world at all. Will not recommend, 0 to 5 stars. You know, and then I started my business, but I realized I also did my business in a way that was very corporate-like, as in I needed to give deliverables for it to be good. And then I realized, you know what, I get to show up in a way that I want to show up, in a way that makes sense for me. And that's when I transitioned to a marketing coach, because it's more in alignment with me as an individual. You know, the clients, they get what it is they sign up for, etc. I'm still able to teach, I'm still able to give them something, but I also reclaim my time as well.
Oh, I loved every piece of this. This was, I feel my story is like similar, but not, but also like I went through that period. So like I was in the military for a moment in time. And so like I had that moment where it was like, what the heck am I doing here? But I signed a contract. So I was like, okay, we're going to do this thing. I gotta see it through, my guy. And so I ended up breaking my hip. I got a stress fracture. And so I took that as a sign from the universe that this was not for me, and that my body wasn't like, I listened to my body in that moment. I was like, okay, I don't want people to think I'm like, I just gave up, but like, I literally can't do this anymore. And so just like hearing you talk about like that feeling in your body, I'm like, I know what that feels like. And I felt it time and time again. Like when I went to, after my boot camp experience, I enrolled in school. And so I went to college in Denver, Colorado, and I changed my major about 3 times. And I was like, this ain't like the last major I had. I was an entrepreneurship student. And I was like, well, I'd rather just like do it rather than like learn it. And so pandemic happened. I'm here doing my business, and I just quit my job that I had.
Oh, congratulations.
Everybody's been congratulating me, but
oh yes, I did see you yesterday for the coaching call yesterday. I kind of was listening in while I was doing work. Right.
It wasn't it. So I quit because, again, I had that feeling. I was just like, I am like, I wouldn't say I was selling my soul, but I was definitely like, I'm on a downward decline if I stay here. I wasn't enjoying myself. I was waking up like, why am I even here? And now I just like feel so empowered. Like this is my first week being a solopreneur again. I love it. Yay! I love this lifestyle. I'm like, okay, I don't know when the next check is coming, but we're gonna make it work.
It is addictive, and it really requires a certain type of individual, because we really go through it. And it's kind of like, I understand why some people may not be supportive of an entrepreneurship lifestyle, because the amount of growth that you have to endure as an individual, if you're signing up for this life, like it's not easy, but the rewards, like literally just like for this week, I literally wake up after 9 for this entire week, after 10, Wednesday I wake up after 11. Okay. You know, like just that level of like flexibility, you know, just being able to reschedule if it is an emergency pops up, like just having that level of control is like, it's priceless. Like it's worth the tears, it's worth the hard coaching, coaching. Like it is priceless, you know, and it's for a certain type of individuals as well. And I feel like that's why entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial minded individuals connect so well with each other, because we all kind of go through it.
We get
We
it.
all go through it. Yeah, we get it. Like girls who get it. And
I just want to live a slow paced life. I just didn't like my biggest thing is like my body, because I'm a bit woo and I love listening to my body. I just like my period really be taking me for a roller coaster, just like being on my menstrual cycle in general. And so it's just like going to work when I'm on my period or the week before my period and somebody is trying me. I'm like, I can't do this right now. I'm trying to do the bare minimum. Please get out of my face. And it's just like I want to like protect my peace, and like I don't like engaging with people that I don't want to engage with. And like when you clock into your job, like you have to be there.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like that forced pressure of like, okay, you're here, you got to do it, because that's what I had to learn in my business. I was like, Bree, you don't have to do something all the time. And that's why I'm so big on like lifestyle design and just being like, take a break. You don't need to work so fast. I have like 3 hours out of the day that I have free time. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just, whatever comes to me in that moment, I do. And sometimes I do work during my free time, but most of the time it's because I'm excited. I'm just like, I really want to finish this project before the end of the week. And yeah, so I just love that, you know, we don't have to confine to our parents' ideals for our life, our society's ideals for our life, even our partner's idea for our life. It's just like, what do you really want? And like having the confidence to not only like do it, but just know that you deserve it. Like have the confidence to know it's for you. Like you don't even have to like make any action right away. It's just being like sitting with that feeling of being like, I deserve this. This is for me. Like I could do this. This is something I can have. Yeah, just like this water in this cup, you can have it.
It is surreal and it's very emotional. Like the amount of emotions, the amount of tears, sometimes you're jumping up and down. Maybe you get a like podcast interview with somebody with, you know, great audience and you're like, oh my God, yes, you know, and it's only like other people. Like now I have like accountability banners and I have friends who are entrepreneurs from like all over the world, and it's so amazing. Like I feel like sometimes like you all are my family, like you're the people who get it, you know, you're the people who simply understand why I'm freaking out because my email didn't send on time.
I feel like my business like community is like where I can come to being like, I really did not want to show up today, but I did it, y'all. Or like somebody in my like close friends or like my family would be like, just take a break. I'm like, if I don't show up, there's no business. Like I gotta do it. But yeah, I love this like little raw, transparent moment that we're having right now. And I would really love to know about like what you're working towards. Like obviously you said one-on-one coaching and stuff, and you can share about like your one-on-one coaching offering, but it's just like, what do you want? Maybe not even with your business, but just like in life, like what are you working towards in this season? So like when you listen back to this, you can be like, oh my gosh, I did it, or I forgot about that.
I am so grateful for this question. So yes, I do have one-on-one coaching. I'll probably talk about that after. But with regards to what I'm working on, I thought very intentionally about this question. So as you know, I'm a business owner, so I do want to have like effortless 10K months. Like I want to just have it even without feeling need to pull in new clients. Like I just want that to be the norm, you know, bare minimum, like the norm in essence. I also want my own home. Like right now I live with my parents, so I want like my own apartment, my own space. I want somewhere to call my own and to do a lot of like apartment decorating, which would be super exciting for me, you know. I also want to travel a bit more. So this year, in the process of getting like my US visa, because I want to go to the US. I have friends in the US who I only see online. I want to see you all in person, you know. So I really want to get that and even hopefully make it to the trip, right? Once my visa comes in time, I want to be there. I want to be most present. I want to be on that VIP list or whatever. Like, I just want to be all in it, you know? I want to soak in all of it. I'm also calling in my soulmate partner this
Oh,
year, right? I actually started, so like all my programs that I ever like joined has always been like business mindset. But in January, I joined a love coaching program. So your girl is healing all these wounds, forgiving and letting go, finding out what is compatibility, finding out about attachment style, and really just creating that space, letting the universe know that, you know what, I am ready. I've been through the messy middle for long enough, right? I am ready, right? So
yeah.
those are like the top things that I would say like I'm working on. And it would be so magical if like a year from now I re-listen to this episode and every single one of this happens. Like I'll be like, manifestation.
I love it. I love it so much. That's what this is all about. Oh, that is so exciting. I love love. And I feel like if I wasn't a lifestyle coach, I would be like a relationship coach. But
Yeah, and also like what I realized too is that I have not seen healthy love in close proximity.
yeah.
I've always seen like, how to put it, love as a how to put it, like as a obligation,
Yeah.
versus love as a choice. And I think like if I want to summon love as a choice, as in I'm choosing to love you, you're choosing to love me, then I want to learn and be around people who are on that wavelength. Like I want a coach or I want a mentor, someone to look up to, who has an amazing relationship, who's open, who has been healing all the wounds, because so much that we go through, especially as women, sometimes like I want to be around it, and I could have been passive and be like, when it happens, it happens. And, and be like, I just be my feminine energy and just flow. All
Yeah.
that good fancy dancy stuff. But I feel like faith and works work best hand in hand. And, I get to do the work and I also get to have faith. And I feel like that is what will make it even more magical, because there's so much layers to ourselves. And why not just learn all the different layers so that you show up self-aware and you can let people know, what, this is actually, I have a very avoidance attachment style. So if you see like we're getting close and I'm pulling away, please just pull me back in. Like it really and truly just helps with like the overall communication. Yeah, I'm talking about me too, because I'm very avoidant. Like it also just helps, like, and I feel like, just to digress a bit, like with this like love coaching program and the business coaching program, like relationships and friendships are just more enjoyable now, because I'm not burdening my friendships with like, I had a hard day at business. No, I'm gonna be in the Slack channel burdening you all about.
Yeah, that is so good. Like I always think about that. I'm like, is this something that they can even hold space for? Like I will never forget when DL was talking about like the want match. I don't know if you remember her talking about that, but it's like it's a podcast. She mentioned it. I don't even know what podcast it is, or it was probably the Life Coaching School or Stacey Bayman, one of those people she's always referencing. But they were talking about how like you want to like connect with people who want the same thing as you. So like me and my sister, we're roommates, and our want match is the fact that like we didn't want to live in our mom's house anymore, and like we're sisters, and like we're just trying to support each other getting through. And when she tried to start talking to me about like fashion and stuff, I'd be like, girl, it's going over my head. Like I just I don't know about makeup. Don't be asking me about what eyebrow brush is this and eye palettes and shadows. Like it just goes over my head. Like that's not our want match. And so it's like I'm not gonna like she doesn't expect me to know that or like give her advice, because like that's not our thing. And so like I like to approach all of my relationships like that. Like even my relationship with my community, it's like where is our match? Like instead of being like, I like to talk about this and do this, and it's just like, but did they even ask for that? Did they even want that from me? So yeah, that's what I've been
That's
thinking
a
about
really
this
good
whole
point.
time. Yeah, because I love thinking about like partnerships and like calling in that person. I'm very much that person, like when it happens, it'll happen, because like I've just gotten to that point where it's like I'm not chasing it. And I've had so many cool encounters where I met people and I was like, oh my gosh, are you the one? And it's just like, Bria, you asking that question of if they're the one already made the whole thing, because like I fixated on them before I even knew anything about you or anything like that. And so it's just like, at this point, just be my friend and we'll see what happens. And I watch too many K-dramas and they just always be like, what? we really do like each other. And it's just like, I just want it to be like so effortless and natural, where it's like, just be there.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
but yeah, tangent,
100%.
but I love a good tangent. I'm here for it. This is the best
Same,
part of the
same,
chat.
same. But
Oh,
like that's the beautiful thing. And I feel like just being around like people like you and people in like the community that we're in, it really made you realize like how small you were thinking. At least I'm speaking about me here. Like it
no,
made me
same.
realize like how small I was thinking. Like I was like, I just want to make like a 2K, 3K, which is fine if that's where you're at. But it's also like, what if you could make 10K months? Right. And even on the months that you don't make it, it don't mean anything about you. And then what if your business is still a very small aspect of your entire life? What if you could also have
Yeah.
soulmate friends? You know, what if you could also have like a great partner, someone who loves you for you? What if you could also have an amazing home? What if you could also travel and save and start repaying your debt or be in a healthy, you know, debt ratio situation? You know, like what if you get to do all of it?
Yeah, life
And
is
you don't need to like
complex.
wait on like one thing to happen for the next thing to happen. Like why you can't like just be working on different
Yeah,
areas
it's very
at once.
simultaneous. Yeah, it's very simultaneous. Like I feel like unconsciously we're always focusing on at least three areas of our lives. But that's just like my philosophy. So it's just like, what do you
Yeah.
want to be in your big three right now, your forefront of your mind?
Mm.
But yeah, I could talk about lifestyle design all day. But I won't do it right here, right now, because once I go, it'll be a whole thing. But I would love for you to share about like how people can connect with you, how they can find you, how they can support you on your journey, and whatever that may look like.
Definitely. So I hang out on Instagram at Leeon George, and my name is spelled Leeon George, right? You can also find me on my podcast, Master Marketing and Monetize. Or if you're someone who wants help with marketing, content creation, if you're a coach or a service provider, and you feel like if you're not sure exactly how to show up, how to create content in a way that resonates and in a way that really calls in dream clients for you, then you can go to my link in my Instagram bio and you can sign up for one-on-one coaching, which is my super magical 6-month coaching experience where we unpack, we layer, and we create super effective, simple strategies so that you're able to take action and show up consistently online. And that's
Yes.
it.
If you all feel compelled to work with Leeon, you know where to find her. I'll have the links down below for you all. And I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for having this chat. Thank you for being open and vulnerable, because we always learn when we do that. So thank you for sharing. As I start to wrap up here, everybody who's listening, you know the drill already. The next 3 minutes are for you to reflect on everything that just came up for you. Like, what was your gems? What were your key takeaways? What do you want to sit with for the next 3 minutes? So I'll have some reflection prompts on the screen for you all and some reflection prompts in the description if you're listening on the podcast. But if you're on YouTube, just stick around. Those questions will pop up on the screen. And yeah, maybe we will see Leeon again for another girl chat in a year or two from now, see those life updates, see what's going on with you. Yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for always showing up with an open heart, everybody. So happy reflecting. The next 3 minutes are for you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, I really hope you enjoyed today's girl chat. I loved having these conversations and I'm sure you're going to enjoy tomorrow's episode as well. But before you go ahead and click to the next girl chat, I want you to share your thoughts on this one. So you can go to the comments and share your key takeaways, what gem resonated with you, and just let us know your thoughts. And so, yeah, we want to keep the conversation going. We want to keep the girl chat going, even though it's over. But you can start the conversation down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are listening on the podcast, I want you to go ahead and take a screenshot of this episode and tag us at Doulas Bloom on Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Same thing, keep the conversation going, share it with a friend, let us know your key insights, your key takeaways, and yeah, I want to know your thoughts. How did you feel today's girl chat went? What resonated with you? So yes, that is what I want. And then I will see you tomorrow. For the next girl chat, and I'm so excited about this series. So excited about it. So but I will see you tomorrow for the next girl chat, and yeah, I love y'all. Bye.